Morning, everyone. My name is Reverend Janet Nohavik. I'm pastor of the Journey Within in Pompton Lakes, New Jersey. Joining us, and I'll give him a much fuller introduction in a little bit, is Reverend Joseph Scheele. Thank you, Joe, for being with us.
Well, thank you.
We start our services with spiritual healing. Spiritual healing is the laying on of hands in prayer. If you were here in the chapel, since we come together virtually this morning, our healers are here and they're present with us. If there's anyone you'd like to request healing for, if you please put their first name, last initial in the chat box, no last names for confidentiality. Our healers will be sending them healing for the days, weeks, months to come. If there's anyone during the course of the week, please just either email the church office or send us, or you can leave a message on the phone as well. We appreciate the service of the healers to the church as well. If you'd like to participate in the healing time, we go into a quiet time of healing. We put on some music. Just if you'd like to go into the silence and kind of go into your own, into your world and breathing, and just really focus on strengthening your own immune system at that point. And our healers will be working with us. So we'll just open with a healing prayer, and then we'll go into our healing minutes. Infinite and gracious God, as we come together this morning, we pray for healing, for our planet, for all of our fellow inhabitants, including the animal world, for the beautiful planet itself, for its clean water and for the oxygen we get from the trees. We pray for healing, dear God, for those suffering from the pandemic in any way this morning, whether spiritually, emotionally, physically, or mentally. They feel the healing balm of God and a ministry of angels as we surround this service, the community present here, and all of those requesting healing, regardless of faith, denomination, place, organization, where there is need. May they feel that healing presence. Amen. As we come to the end of our healing time, we continue to send absentee healing to all those in need of our prayers. Amen. Welcome, everyone, again. My name is Reverend Janet Nohavik. I'm pastor of the Journey Within. I know there seems to be some internet issues this morning, so sorry about that if you've had a struggle to get in. I'm not sure if that's still happening. We have Reverend Joseph Scheele here with us this morning. I did mute you during the healing, Joe, if you'd like to unmute. Reverend Joseph Scheele is a minister with the Journey Within. He resides in upstate New York. He's an author, a teacher. He's a spirit artist, which he's going to tell you about in a little bit of time. He teaches different courses worldwide. He has a wonderful book of poems, The Edge of Wilderness. I'm sure he has some classes coming up. Any courses starting soon, Joe?
Oh, well, there's a spirit art intensive that's spirit portraiture, and that's coming up. And I have other classes coming up about the senses. And you can go on my website, josephschiele.com, and get it all in there. There's a lot there. So,
Thanks.
and I definitely have one with John Holland. We're going to do a demonstration up in Salem. And that will be a lot of fun, and it's live with a lot of restrictions, but we're going to try to do it. And then a class as well at the Circle of Wisdom. So I hope that people can check out John's site as well and see what it's all about. So thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks for being with us here today.
Thank you.
Joseph. So we begin our services with song and prayer. We'll ask Joe to open with prayer, and then we're having a song that he actually has sang. So Reverend Joe, will you open with prayer for us?
Yes, thank you. Almighty and Holy Spirit, Spirit world, we invite you to be here with us today, to join with us in mind and in heart, soul to soul, to help ease our fears and pains of this walk of life, to help us find the humor in life, the laughter in family and friends. We ask that you be with us today and inspire us to live and live well in all that we do. We ask this day for our fond memories of those who have gone before us and paved the way for our beliefs and truths to join us, to inspire us, and to uplift us, to have the resiliency and the fortitude to continue life and be of service to others. Amen.
Amen. And I'd like to introduce Reverend Joe for the address today. Welcome, Joseph.
Thank you, Janet. Thank you so much. And thank you again for that nice introduction, and also for having me at the Journey Within. I so miss being at church, being down there, but I'm glad that you kept it going, and throughout this this terrible pandemic and everything else. It's just a lot of hard work, I know, and thank you for all you've done, all you do. I haven't listened to that song in a long time, and I'm listening to my harmonica playing, and I'm like, ooh, that's a little eerie, but it sounds okay. And of course, that's Robin Bennett in the background. And I just recently laid some of her ashes to rest in a childhood spot that she loved so much, and it was moving after 4 years to do that and watch the ashes fall on the dunes by the ocean. So it was interesting, and very very moving, and a little bit of healing as well. You know, I also had a wonderful time as I was down in Cape Cod, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that today, about how kids are amazing. I just have had so much fun this past couple of weeks. I recently, just had the pleasure and of being the favorite grandpa, being grandpa, and that was so much fun and so much different from my life. But we take I'm a grandpa to two wonderful little boys. Quinn is 2 and Connor is about 4 months, maybe 5 months now, and they're both sweethearts. And I was just amazed at how they can struggle, and then for a period of time, they get tired, and they kind of get hungry, and then they get uncomfortable, and I watched them cry and hurt, and you feel helpless, and you feel like, geez, what are you going to do? You're going to bounce them on your knee, you're going to try to get them to laugh, but they're in their pain, and they're in their confusion, and yet you watch them, and it just amazes me how resilient they are. After a short nap or something, they just jump up, and they want to be as busy as can be. They want to take in the world. They run around. They're just looking everywhere, taking in all the light and all the shadows and all the colors and all the wonders of life. And I thought, wow, that's just amazing. And then they get tired again, because they're through so much. And in those eyes of wonder and the energy levels, it's all enough to exhaust grandpa, and I get tired, and I get hungry, and I get uncomfortable, and it happens to me a little quicker and a little harder than it does to them. But, I'll give you an example. It's like, if you watch a little boy, did you ever realize how many pebbles there are on a beach? And how the boy wants to take the pebble, and then he finds and discovers the laughter and begins to laugh first, like just amazingly, because he found out if you take the pebble and you throw it in the water, it makes a funny plop sound. And every time the plop sound takes place, there's more laughter, more bending over belly laughter. And you watch this over and over and over again. There's a lot of pebbles, and you can keep a kid busy for about an hour. So I just had a grand time. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that what's beautiful about this is the resiliency of children and the resiliency of all of us. And Today, as spiritualists, we're resilient. We're no different than any other faith in a lot of ways in this world. But when it comes to being tired of the strife and pain and division in the world, when it comes to being hungry for peace in the world, intelligence possibly, harmony maybe, when it comes to being uncomfortable with the fears on the horizon of our nation, the world, and yes, even our religion. And yet we as spiritualists are fortunate in that we are resilient beyond. We can embrace laughter and focus on the infinite possibilities, on the continuation of life, of the wonders of science, the exploration of philosophy, and coming more and more close to the truth of things for all of us, the bigger picture, if you will. You know, being a grandpa and witnessing the promise of a new generation is more than just sweet reward. You know, a reward for having kids, or maybe even managing to live this long. It's a sweet reward in every way, but it's also a gift of insight into the circle of life, the connection of souls, and the promise of love. And the appreciation of never-ending mysteries. This is something that I think moves from within us, within our own hearts, our own souls, and drives us to live, to grab, to see more, to experience more, to take in the scenery, to take in even the pain at times, and not miss a trick, not miss a thing in the balance of the universe, in the balance of our lives. In this brief existence on this crazy planet, we as spiritualists have an opportunity to not only experience all these things, but to know that there is, and come to know, come to communicate with those that have gone beyond and see it all. That we're not just pieces as we are given over the brief period of our lives on this planet, but to be given the greater good, the greater insight into why. You know, for some of us, I guess, an old guy like me, we're old enough to remember a tragic Tuesday some 20 years ago. And this weekend has been no different. I mean, it's all over the news. It's all over the 9/11 is there, and it will be remembered, and those lost will be remembered. The change in our life is ever present, and yet we keep changing. The day before that, on the 10th, was my mother's 93rd birthday. She passed at 39. My dyslexia caught that, 9339. And I look at how many years have gone by, and yet life continues. Many things stay the same, and yet we evolve. We have an evolution of life. It's all in the perspective that we take at life sometimes, and some of the tragedies of life. You know, 20 years ago, 2 planes hit towers, another plane hit the Pentagon, and another plane hit the ground. And lots of souls were lost. But when the horror of life comes in and hits us and knocks down the structure of our being, when we collapse to our knees with nothing more to do than pray, in the pain, the fear, or the exhaustion of life itself, from the dust, from the ashes, the resilient ones, the ones who continue to see all the joy and all the pleasures and all the love in life, begin to emerge, to come forward, and the laughter comes back. Resilience is a word that means back to normal, basically. And, you know, something's stretched out of proportion, something's bent or ruined somehow, that somehow resiliently it'll bounce back, it'll come back. And time again, we fear that things are gone forever or that it's never going to be okay. But coming back or bouncing back doesn't always come immediately, and it always doesn't morph in an instant. It takes time to go back to normal, if you will, go back to where we understand, to go back to being comfortable, less frightened, less fearful of the world. There are all kinds of things in the world that ram into structures. The structures of politics, the structures of religions, the structures of families, the structures of our own health. And over again, we see these structures collapse at times. But we can be resilient, and there's ways to be resilient. The resiliency can be something adopted, practiced, and move forward, no matter how much tragedy there is. It has taken me years since my mother's death at 12 to bounce back or to be okay with life itself. I wanted to leap. I wanted to end it. And yet today, as the circle of life continues, and I see my two little smiling grandsons, there's no way I want to go. And I'm, as someone just recently told me, I'm not over the hill yet, but I'm at the top of the mountain looking down. So it's kind of where I need to hold on and cherish every moment. And had I known that back when I was a teenager, back when I was in my 20s, instead of racing around trying to be somebody and trying to fix things and trying to be okay, I could have just been and observed and taken in and allowed happiness and joy to be with me, to take a different paradigm or perspective at life, to not worry as much, to not hurt as deeply, to see that in service of others, I got away from those unnecessary things that were tearing at my very soul. Being a minister of the journey within is something I take quite seriously. And it's not something I flaunt or put out there for people to bow down or something. It's something that's called within me to continue an effort of bettering, evolving, and improving who I am, what I do, and the gifts I've been given in order to bring more light into the world. Each of us are called in a way at our very birth, knowing that any day the plane can hit, at any day the collapse can happen, that we can be resilient together, that we can find commonality, that we can find decency. And as things crash into us from all around us, we know that we're not alone. Spiritualists have this huge gift if they can only embrace it. And that is a set of principles for living and a trust in a source close to us, our own family members, spirit just beyond, who are insightful, visionaries, intelligent, and they can give us the answers. But in the midst of it, we must listen. We must take time in the quiet and meditation and listen for the answers deep within our own being. Stop chasing out there to find things. Chasing around, trying to grab onto the gusto or the last dime or the candy, and allow the peace, joy, and insight to be nurtured and grow within us. It is then that life begins to be beautiful in every way, and that the balance of life, good and bad, are seen as truly a gift. I know that many of us, many of you may have had the tragedies of something slamming into your structure, whether it be your family, divorce or death, or the horrors of addiction or other things in families that tear it up and tear it apart. We watch now as a nation just tears at each other and tries to restrict some from their own rights and their own liberties and their own laws. And where others focus only on themselves, not concerned for the masses, only for their own fame. We watch this even in close proximity to ourselves, in communities, in churches, and everywhere around us. The question is not, what we do about it, but how do we change it? How do we make the resiliency happen? How do we bring it back to a place that is normal? And what is normal? I know that many of us as mediums have never been called normal, not by a stretch of imagination. Yet, when I talk about normal, I talk about the evolution and changes to evolve in life. Evolve as a nation, evolve as a people, evolve as a religion, evolve and come to know that, yes, the times are changing, and yes, things are fearful, but we, each and every one of us, has a personal responsibility to not only ourselves, but to everyone else, to illuminate the truth, to bring the truth within this world, in our actions, in our deeds, in our words. I am grateful to be a spiritualist. I struggled with that for a while. Janet knows that. And yet I see it as an opportunity, not a set rules that you do this or else, but spiritualism gives me the opportunity to think, the free thinkers, to think forward, to philosophize more, to grow our minds to come together. No matter what the tragedies around the world, no matter what the mistakes that are made or the mishaps that are misunderstood, or whether it's human beings doing it, or maybe something else like a disease or the weather, we must look into these things that are slamming us today, like global warming, like global politics, like the greed. And when we look at it closely, we can see that we can help someone close to us. We can make the plop in the water and bring laughter. We can make the statement that brings concern and mystery so that people question their actions more and maybe urge to change, call to change for the better. Some of the things we do to get through these tough times, whether we've lost someone we love and we don't know how we're going to go on or how to live without them, or whether we don't know whether we should just give up on everything because it's just too much. We're exhausted. We're hungry. We're terrified. The things to do to be resilient are simple. Every day, wake up and write down a few things that you're grateful for. Because somewhere in the midst of the storm, there's still something to be grateful for. If it's only the next breath, if it's only the fact that I know where I am, if it's only the fact that I know that my grandkids are okay, I am grateful for those things because there is a greater power, that spirit world that sees and communicates constantly, one and the same, through us, in us, with us, in every way, to help us see what we can be grateful for. That gratitude really goes a long way. The other thing I would do is I would, they said, move a muscle, change a thought. Movement, getting out and walking, just getting up and down instead of sitting in a chair and working all day, or sitting in the chair and watching the tube all day. Getting up and getting out and moving moves everything within us. It brings things together from mind, body, and spirit, because we're in an environment of beauty. No matter how ugly the city might be, or the grass is growing, there's beauty in the life around us. So get up and get out to the best of our abilities in movement if we can, no matter what it is we can do. Meditation is really important. And if you can meditate just for 15 minutes a day, just take your time and sit in the quiet mindfully. Allow the thoughts to be. Don't try to change anything. Just mindfully look at things and just observe the realities of your own being, your place in this universe, and begin to love who you are, to see why you're here, and know your significance, each and every one of you. Another thing to do is belong to something. Belonging to this church, to Journey Within, and watching the powerful things that have happened and that Janet has created over the years, and the people, the powerful and intelligent people she brings to teach and to be, is to belong to something meaningful, helpful, loving, caring. It uplifts and strengthens you and gives you the resilience to go along and keep going, even when times are bad, to have fortitude in the midst of it all. Perspective is the next thing you should think about. How am I actually looking at these things? Am I looking at 9/11 today as the worst thing that ever happened? Am I looking at it as, I think I just want to crawl into a hole? Or do I look at it as an opportunity to see what we are called to when it comes to peace, acceptance, openness to others, and all generations, all denominations, all beliefs, and become a light in the midst to show that we can have peace. There is a possibility of getting along. There is a possibility of coexisting on this planet. Perspective is everything. Looking at what is love, what is hope. I think the greatest thing that's been given to me by being a spiritualist is a little bit of hope that life is not over, that life will be continuous, that no matter how I screw up, I might have a chance again to rethink, to redo, to change my ways, to improve upon this soul and spirit of mine. It's hopeful. And that hope gives me optimism. I am no longer walking around like a sad sack, worried about the politics and everybody and who's run, who isn't, all this other stuff. What I look at is we as people, at the depth of who we are truly loving spirits, no matter who you are. The surroundings, the activities, the things, the horrors that have happened to us may bend us out of shape. It may crush us to the core, but we can be resilient. We can come back to knowing we belong to each other, that we are responsible for what we do when it comes to everyone else, that we are truly love at the core. I hope you can take some of these and work with them for your own resiliency, your own hope, your own comfort, and especially for your peace. Choose peace. I thank you very much for letting me talk today and listening to me.
Thank you, Reverend Joe. Thank you so much for that. So usually if we were here at the church in person, we go to our announcements and a time of collection. I understand that I'm not sure if the server was down or the site was down this morning. So sorry for you, those of you who got in late. Karen was on top of it as quick as she could. And thank you, Reverend Joe. Luckily he got in too. So for all of you, I can tell from the numbers, a lot of people have gotten in now. So that's wonderful. If you'd like to make a donation, you could click on this little square, which has a word for it, which I'm not sure what that is, but if you take a picture of it, it takes you to a donation little place. And if you're so moved, you can make a donation to the church. Anything great or small is appreciated. We have announced that we are closed till the end of March due to the COVID restrictions. The space is not big here. And virtually, we love being here with you in community, and we look forward when we can be back in person with you. If you'd like to join the Journey Within virtually or in person, we'd love to have you. Just had our first member from Japan. So we now have members in many different countries. And yesterday, a piece of paper arrived with a membership from Japan. So that's pretty exciting, I have to say. Fantastic. Thank you to all the co-hosts, techs, chairperson, teachers for all the classes that take place every night of the week. And on the weekends, Reverend Karen, Reverend Patty, everybody that has kept everything running. We're deeply, deeply appreciated. We couldn't have been okay without all the help we have, and we have a lot of help. So we're appreciative of that. This course is coming up next Saturday and Sunday. James Van Prague is teaching a 2-day class on the development of mediumship. It's been a wonderful support to our community. He's doing a demonstration of mediumship in October with myself for the schoolhouse. Joe has done quite a few of those as well. So we're appreciative of all the efforts. Leonard Tad is beginning 2 different courses. I think there's 6 sessions. One is on the development of trance mediumship. One is on the development of mental mediumship. You can check out our website and the flyers that are devoted to each with course description. Chris Drew was with us yesterday. He'll be back with us for several classes actually coming up in October. The next one is on Claire Gustin's. Please join us for that as well. Lynn Probert is conducting a 3-day class at the end of the month. 3 days, 5 hours a day. She's a wonderful ambassador for spirit. On September 25th, Lori Sheridan and Laura Wooster and myself are doing as well another fundraiser for the schoolhouse as we go through the architectural, and now at least the town supervisor, code enforcer is involved. So things will be moving ahead, which is fantastic. Someone did mention if they couldn't get into the service this morning through our website, they went to the Journey Within North website and came in that way. So there are resilient people here. They found a way in. So thank you for all of that. And we appreciate every one of you who comes together in community this morning, because it's been fantastic through what we've been through, all of us, to be able to come together in this way. We're really blessed that Zoom was there when this all started. If you'd like to drop off food for the local pantry, you can do so here at the church door. No, nothing lasts, nothing perishable. They're not taking clothing at that time. So if you'd like to bring anything over, we'd appreciate that. On the 22nd of September, that's a Wednesday night. It's usually our spiritual healing class service. That night, we'll be having the vernal equinox service in place of that. Someone had texted me about the meditation that we had done, the upper room. If you go to the Journey Within YouTube channel, there are a couple meditations there. So they're guided. You can just go into the piece with them and listen whenever you want. Tuesday night, healers group is beginning to resume after our summer break. Wednesday midday class will be resuming with Pam. That's coming back. Monday nights, Reverend Anna is beginning, I believe it's in 2 weeks, awareness. It's a combination of mediumship and psychic development. And that's along with almost every night there's a course happening. Tuesday nights, there's beginners mediumship and an intermediate group. Thursday nights, beginners psych development and an intermediate group. And then of course, the weekend, the other days, all the courses with our guest mediums. So please check out all the offerings that are there. We appreciate you being with us in this way. In a moment, we're going to go into our demonstration of mediumship. I'm going to stop the share. So Joe is a spirit artist. He'll be telling you about that in a little bit. I'm going to forgo the middle song just to give him a couple extra minutes. So as a spiritualist church, we do believe in continuity of life. Through our demonstration of mediumship, we seek to reunite those here with those who have crossed over to the spirit world. Joe will tell, oh, thank you, someone has posted. Our Sunday night services resume this evening. That's at 6:30. They had taken the month of August off. So they're back on this evening at 6:30. So if you'd like to join us, those became quite popular as well. So a lot of our other ministers in trainings, mediums, all of those are present. And thank you everybody that hosts and co-host those as well. Thanks for the reminder. Everybody's saying it's great to see you, Joe, by the way. So
thank you.
So I'm going to turn the demonstration over to Joseph. I guess we have about 20 minutes.
Okay. Thank you very much, Jen.
And if you could tell them about spirit art, because you do a better job than I.
What I'm going to attempt to do here today is spirit art is, and I kind of call it spirit portraiture because it gets confused sometimes just with art that comes from the imagination, meditation, and kind of the etheric, if you will. What I am attempting to do and have attempted to do for many, many years now is to not only communicate with the spirit beyond that has passed on, but also to kind of achieve the image of them in some way. Okay. Often I see them in my mind. Sometimes I feel who they are and kind of know what I look like. Sometimes I'm inspired to move the pencil and draw in different ways to capture the essence of the person, thus giving a tangible kind of evidence beyond the word evidence that most good mediums that can do an explanation. I'm just trying to put it in the physical so that people can see it as well. So that's what I will try to do, at least with one of the readings today, so that you can see that. So I appreciate if you listen to me, and Janet, I guess they'll raise their hands or something. You'll tell me who's there.
If you can take 95% of what has been said, okay. Please pay attention to the information, okay. Then raise your hand. Please don't, if he says it's someone's mom, please don't put it up and say, I think it's my father. Don't switch it too far. You should take a good 95% of what's said. If you raise your hand, then it's Joe's job to discern who he's with.
Exactly. So thank you for listening and thank you for participating. And I'm going to show you what it looks like. I'm going to switch the camera here so that you can see what this whole effect is. Hold just 1 second. You can see that. I can move this somewhat closer. Sorry. There we go. It got moved somehow, so I apologize. Well, there. So you'll see me draw on this page, and you'll see it come through like that. Okay, so you'll see the face come through. All right.
If all else fails and you can't get your hand up or communicate, please type to me in the chat box.
Yeah. Now listen to the information before you connect with the picture. The information is important. I could be talking to one person and drawing another. So it's very important to just identify with the information if you do. The first person that comes into my mind is really quite wonderful. She was very, very sweet to me. And I think she wasn't sweet to everybody, but she's sweet to me. I think she could tell people where to get off. She really was a very strong and very, very forceful woman. And I do believe she lived a pretty full life. I believe that she had a very, very sound mind when it came to the practical things of life and how to handle them. And she was strong through some very difficult things in life, as she expresses to me. As I'm aware of her, I begin to see how she cared for herself. She took care of herself. She knew that she was an attractive woman, and yet she knew that wasn't the most important. That most important was education, learning, and really being on her game. She knew how to move people and to motivate people, and I feel very, very strong with her. So I'm going to just begin to put together the person I'm seeing in my mind, and as I do, I want you to know that she lived a long life and had lost a lot of weight towards the end. So she has her hair quite shorter than it normally was in her younger days. But she also has a way about her of really connecting with the loved ones even now. She said she's chiming in, if you will. She's coming and making herself known. She had a bit of, I believe, maybe something with skin cancer or with the nose that was a problem towards the end. As she tells me, she's talking about having a difficulty with her heart, and that it wasn't the only problem, but the heart was weak because of other issues and other sicknesses that she had suffered from. So it's more than one ailment that was combined or exacerbated the whole situation, as I feel this. So if you were to understand this, you would also understand, I keep getting either, I want to say, I'm asking her to give me more here, but as I continue, she starts to talk to me about, I want to say there's an Anne involved here, so I do need to mention Anne, and it's either connected to her somehow, or I was asking her if it was her name, but I'm not. I need to be more clear on that with her, so I'm asking her to help me be more clear on that. She could be very, very funny when she wanted to be, but her demanding ways were really the thing that kind of got everything done, if you will. She's very, very diligent at doing things, but there's a sweetness also, as she showed to me in the beginning. Her eyes were difficult towards the end. She could not see as well as she used to, and she had difficulty getting around. I feel the pain, the arthritic pain, if you will, in my joints. So I do think she would have rubbed her hands somewhat towards the end as well. So does anybody understand?
There's 3 hands up. There's Donna,
Okay.
Denise, Janice.
Okay. So let me go on just a little bit further. Donna, Denise, and Janet, thank you very much for taking this. I believe that they are, there's something about a set of pearls or a necklace that was important as well. She wants me to put it on so that somebody notices it. So I'm just going to put it on. And I believe it's a heart kind of locket that somebody, almost on a set of beads, if you will. So I'm going to kind of put that. If you were to understand this, you would understand that she was very mindful of her faith. And she took very, very close care of her faith. That was something that she really felt was important in life. And she tried to instill that in her children. She's talking about children. I also want to talk about a young man that she is mentioning. So I'm going to mention that as well. Can everybody still understand that, please?
There's a Denise, a Janice, a Kate, and Donna.
Okay. Let me go on just a little bit further. I would like you to understand most of it, including at this point, I do believe this is the woman that I'm drawing, that I'm talking to and feeling within me. So as she connects with me, I want you to know that her love and her insistence upon being here is really important, almost as if she's been gone, but she hasn't been gone all that long, almost like she wants you to know that she's okay. So I will insist on that. I'm putting the lines on her neck and she doesn't want me to do that. So I'm going to kind of pause from that just for a moment. So can I speak to Kate, please?
Sure. Kate, if you could unmute. Hi, Kate.
Hi, Kate.
Hi.
Hi, Kate. What pieces of this do you understand, Kate? May I ask?
I heard the hard-headed sort of demeanor, but also coupled with the sweetness and the arthritis and the heart, but not a heart condition, more like brokenhearted, and also the heart necklace, the necklace that she wore all the time that she gave to me.
Okay. Thank you. Would you hang in there and just listen a little further, please? And then I'm going to ask if Janet could step in and tell me what she understood.
Janice.
Janice, is it?
Yep, Janice, if you could unmute.
Hi, are you there?
Hi, Janice. Yep. Yes, thank you.
I can understand everything, especially when you said the nose cancer, because it broke my heart that her nose was pretty much eaten away at the end from her nose cancer. But she had heart issues, arthritis, tons of things throughout her demeanor. She could be very sweet, but she also could be very
strong, right? Very
tough. Yeah.
Yeah, tough. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to thank everybody else for chiming in, but Janice, I do believe I'm with you. Your voice sounds familiar to me. So in the blending of spirit with her, I want you to know that, okay? And okay. I want to also say, what is the Ann to you?
Well, there's a lot of middle names that are Ann in the family, and she has a daughter named Joanne.
Okay. So bear with me as I go along a little further. And do you understand the picture at all? Are you able to see it?
I literally was pulling it up, zooming in, and I was like, that looks like Granny. It really does.
It really does. Okay. Well, she's been brilliant with me today, and I really think that the love that she has, and I want to say there's a pride in you. And I think the pride in you is that you kind of inherited, she tells me, not only her sweetness, but her toughness. And sometimes the toughness is comes in useful, if you will. Okay. So she's saying she doesn't use it. She never used it to hurt people. She used it only to protect family and to protect those around her. Would you understand when I said that?
Yes, I do.
She's not, in other words, she's not malicious with her toughness. She doesn't take people over, control people. She just watches the family quite closely, if you will. Now, I also want to talk about the month of June for some reason. She brings me to an awareness of June, and I want to go around the 6th, if you will. Would you want to? Can you tell me what the 6th is? Is that someone's birthday?
There's a lot of birthdays, especially grandsons and great grandsons in June, and I believe
Okay.
one is the 6th for sure. There's
Okay.
time.
Okay. And also you would you understand a Kevin, please? In the living, possibly.
I'd have to ask my dad about that.
Okay, you don't need to, you can say no, it's okay, okay? But for somewhere that name is becoming aware to me. I'm aware of that name, and it seems to be someone in the living that she has concern for. So there's prayers for them as well, something she's doing even now, if you will, okay?
Okay.
And being around you as well. Now, she had animals but she's not as good with them as you or a sister, I want to say. She talks about a sister. So is it your sister that she's talking about?
No, it would have to be her sister.
So her sister, okay. And so it's important to express the concern for someone's pet, I believe, a dog, I believe, okay? So can I just mention that as well?
Well, it's funny because we have a dog that has been dealing with challenges, and I just literally said before I got on the Zoom that he doesn't look good again.
Okay. She wants you to know that her prayers are there with you, and that she's definitely in the court, if you will, and she's right along with you don't worry, just work with it and go do the next right thing, if you will. And I feel like she wants you to have peace in the midst of the challenge, but yet don't panic and cause more stress in the environment. You understand?
Yes.
Okay, so I hope that you can take the picture and take the things, and I want to say thank you very much. And I'll leave you with that little message, if you will, and tremendous amounts of love from her as well. Could I she tends to bring up my great aunt Mamie, which is Margaret. She tends to bring that into my mind. So before I leave this connection and this link, and this wonderful woman here, I want you to understand that name as well as being brought. But it could be an association, I would say, with my Aunt Mamie's cooking and her love of tchotchke.
Yeah, we have a lot of tchotchkes.
Okay.
And the cooking was quite well, so I
Quite
get the
well.
Margaret name
Yeah,
as well.
I love visiting my Aunt Mamie. I am the man I am today because of her and many others that knew how to cook. So I want to leave you with that, with light and love and tremendous amount of peace in the midst of all things. And thank you for taking the message.
Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it.
God bless you. God bless you.
Thank you.
And you can go to the website, my website, and request the picture. We can get you a picture back to you. Okay. Thanks, Janice. We have time for one more, Janet, or is it tight?
It's
Real
tight.
close. Okay. Real quickly, I'll put this over to the side. I had a young man step in with me, and I felt so moved by him because he said please, and I heard the word please in my head. And although there are many kind of knocking on the door, if you will, I heard his voice, and the please was one of almost more concern for those who are still here than for himself. It's not, he wants them to know that he's okay. I believe this is a young man that passed very quickly. I do believe that there's something to do with his own doing. And I feel the pain within that as well, in his humanness, but in his spirit, he feels to have joy. He feels to be at peace, and he feels quite, he's a very strong young man, and very, very smart, and I believe very capable, and had a lot of friends. He's you know, he's the kind of kid that would joke and kind of, if I was Uncle Joe, I'd be picked on, you know, kind of really heavily, you know. He like, once we got to know each other, and I do believe we'd get along quite well, he'd know he could bust my chops quite readily. He's a handsome kid, and he had a lot going for him and a lot ahead of him. I believe it's almost as if mistakes were made, and it's not like intentional as much as situational that brings this whole thing to me. I also want to kind of put this hat on him, and I almost want to kind of put it backwards, if you will. So I'm gonna I got this whole feeling of him here. So I want to kind of mention him and ask, you know, I need to mention, if I can, either he tells me that he wants the family to know that he's okay, that whatever this is happened at night, and that he talks about that night. That mistakes, it's more of a mistake than intentional, if you will. So I feel like he passed quickly, but I'm not gonna, there's no blame, if you will. It's more of a kind of a sense that he is truly feeling that he wants people to know his love for them and his continued effort to be with them. Now, I'm not quite getting the picture yet, but can anybody understand any pieces of this so far?
There's 3 hands up: Michelle, Sharon, Bonnie, Susan.
Oh,
4 hands.
several. Okay, so let me go on. There's a bit of a scar in his face that I want to say. It might have been just a blemish or something that he, you know, didn't take good care of or whatever, but a bit of a blemish on his left cheek. I also want to say to you that there is a Josh or Joshua Jacob, that sound of name in the midst here. I also want to talk about either a Mark or a Mike, something like that. I'm hearing. I kind of talked over myself, and I apologize. But I feel that he's really trying to show himself. He also talks about January being quite important as well. So you would want to know that January is an important date, either an anniversary of some sort, or birthday, or the actual passing. I feel heavy with it, so I'm going to say it could be a date around the passing, just after Christmas, if you will. Could I ask, can anybody take that, please?
There's a Michelle, a Sharon, a Bonnie, a Susan, and a Catherine. There's 5 hands.
Okay. Wow. Why don't I take Michelle first, please?
Michelle, if you could unmute.
Hello.
Hi, Michelle. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay.
I can take all of it.
You can take all of it. How about the picture, huh?
It looks very much like him.
Okay.
Picture.
And how do you understand those names?
Well, Mike actually was his best friend who died in January, only a few months prior to him. Prior
to his passing. Okay. I wanted to come with you, Michelle, because I do feel like the name just spun inside of me the minute I heard it. And I wasn't sure in the first time around when Janet said it, but second time I felt that I feel now this is someone that you were responsible for or close to. Do you understand that?
Yes, this was my husband.
Okay. And so I want to say that this young man has got a brilliance about him too, and a tremendous amount of talent that he never got to use. Do you understand that? And
I do.
And I want you to know that his love for you and his presence around you continues, but he wants you to have the freedom to have peace in your life. Okay.
Yes.
And And I want you to know also that as he shows me here, there was some rough things going on in him in his own mind. And he wants you to know that it's no one else's fault but his own, in his own perspective, but he was trying his hardest to move forward and move out of it. Do you understand that, please?
I do.
Okay. Well, know that the love is there for you, because I know we don't have enough time to continue everything here, but if you recognize him.
I do.
And this is him shaved, right?
Yeah.
He had a little bit of that, kind of like me. Do you understand? Yeah, he tried anyway. Okay. But did you not like that or something he's talking about? When he grew beard,
I didn't mind it.
Okay. Well, he gives me the clean cut look. So there you have it. Okay. I'll leave you with that, with light and love. God bless you all, and thank you for listening to me today. And again, you can get the picture if you want. Okay. I appreciate it.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless. Thanks, Janet.
Thank you, Reverend Joe. You could get the screen sharing back.
I'll end the share. Sorry about that.
Oh, all good. Thank you very much.
There you go. There we go. Okay.
Thank you, Reverend Joseph, and thank you very much. A lot of people, I'm sure it was their first time seeing that type of work done. So very evident.
Thanks.
So as we come to the end of service, we'll be closing with a song and prayer. There we go. So we would invite Reverend Joseph to close with prayer.
Greatest love. A God as we understand him and her and it, that love in the universe that is in all of us, that energy that flows through us. We thank you for our time together, our time to share the mysteries and to share the love that we have, to express the words and hopes for all. We thank the spirit world for being with us today, to constantly being around us and holding us and uplifting us if we could only listen. We thank everyone today to make an effort at resilience, at seeing the world as a better place, at learning to love life in every moment of it. Step back and see the beauty in all its balance, and know that you are significant. Thank you. Blessings.
Thank you, Reverend Joe, for taking the time to be with us. Thank you for all of you who have come to share community with us on a Sunday morning. We're grateful for every one of you being here with us. And we'll just close with this song. We look forward to seeing you this night if you would care to join us, and blessings on your day. Thank you, Reverend Joe.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.